right, today we're diving into something really cool, a 2,000-year-old system for understanding nature that might just be the most poetic and precise travel guide you could ever imagine. So let's jump right in. Okay, so I want you to picture something. You're an ancient farmer. Your whole life, your family's survival, depends on getting the timing just right. But you don't have a weather app on your phone, right? How in the world do you know exactly when to plant? When are the rains coming? It's not just a nice to know, it's literally a matter of survival. Well, the answer to that question was figured out more than 2,000 years ago. Yeah, way back during China's Han Dynasty. People started paying really close attention to the world around them, and what they came up with, it was absolutely brilliant. And here it is. This is the solution, the 24 solar terms. Now, you might hear calendar and think, okay, big deal. But no, this is so much more than that. It's this beautiful, poetic, and super precise system that's all based on the sun's journey across the sky, not the moon. And get this, the influence of this system is just massive. This isn't some dusty old relic. We're talking about something recognized by UNESCO as Intangible Cultural Heritage. It slices the year into 24 little micro-seasons, each lasting about 15 days. And it guided everything. I mean, everything. From farming to festivals to even what you should eat to stay healthy. All right, so let's take a quick trip through this natural rhythm ourselves. This is where you'll see just how poetic and descriptive it all is. So in spring, you get terms like jingzhe, which means the awakening of insects. The idea is that the first clap of spring thunder literally wakes up all the hibernating bugs. How cool is that? Then there's guyu, or grain rain, marking the time when the rains come that help all the crops grow. It just paints such a clear picture, you know? Then we move into summer. You've got 夏至, the summer solstice. We all know that one, longest day of the year. But right after that comes 大暑, the greater heat. And that name tells you everything you need to know. It pinpoints the exact start of the hottest, most brutal part of summer. It's like a natural warning sign. Okay, now for autumn, the signs get a little more subtle. There's a term called bailu, or white dew. That's for when it starts getting cool enough at night for dew to form on the grass. You can just feel that shift. And that leads up to shuangjiang, the frost's descent. And when you hear that, you know that real cold is officially on its way. And that brings us to winter. It doesn't just start with a blizzard. Nope. It begins with xiaoshui, which means lesser snow, just the very beginning of the snowy season. And it all builds up to dahan, the greater cold. That's it, the absolute coldest point of the entire year. You can really feel how it tracks the whole progression, can't you? From tiny observations to major climate events. Okay, that's the ancient wisdom. It's beautiful, right? But here's the big question. How does this one system work for a place as huge and climatically diverse as modern China? And that contrast is really the heart of the matter. Think about it. Up north, in Beijing, you get these brutally cold, dry winters. But you go down south to a city like Guangzhou, and the winters are mild and sticky. You can't have one forecast for both. It just doesn't work. That's why that kind of local, on-the-ground observation was, and honestly still is, so important. And that's not even touching on the West. You've got massive deserts and the super high altitude conditions in places like Tibet. We're talking about a country of true climate extremes. So let's bring it all together. How can we use all this ancient wisdom and modern geography to help you plan the perfect trip? Let's turn this into a practical travel guide. But first, a quick and really important tip. If you're used to Fahrenheit, just remember that China uses Celsius. So when you see 0 degrees, that means it's freezing. It's a small thing, but trust me, it's good to know. All right, let's start with Beijing and the north. Your absolute best times to go are spring and autumn. The weather is just gorgeous, skies are usually clear. I mean, can you just picture seeing the Great Wall with all the leaves changing color in the fall? It's just perfect. Now, for Shanghai and the East Coast, it's a similar story. Spring and autumn are the winners for comfortable weather. Spring, though, is especially stunning. All the city's parks and famous gardens are just exploding with flowers and greenery. Okay, now here's a travel tip that might surprise you. For the south, around Guangzhou, the best time to visit is actually winter. I know, it sounds weird, right? But it's because you get to see all that incredible, lush, green scenery without the crazy heat and humidity that comes with a southern summer. It's the secret sweet spot. And for a place like Guilin, which is famous for its beauty, getting the timing right is key. Again, spring and autumn are great because the weather is comfortable for being outside. But if you go in the spring, you might just get to see those classic postcard-perfect misty mornings on the Lee River. Absolutely magical. Last but not least, let's talk about the high-altitude spots like Tibet. For most people, summer is really the only way to go. It's warmer, which makes a huge difference up there. The mountain passes are more likely to be open, and frankly, it's just the safest and most pleasant time to soak in those unbelievable views. So, as you can probably tell by now, this is about so much more than just picking the right month on a calendar. This is all pointing to a much deeper way of looking at the world. It's not just a calendar, it's a whole philosophy. It's a mindset for living in tune with nature. You could almost think of it as a kind of ancient mindfulness, right? It's all about being present and actually noticing the tiny little changes happening around you every day. And when you start to understand this rhythm, it totally transforms how you experience a place. A spring shower stops being just rain. Now it's grain rain. A chilly morning isn't just a temperature drop, it's the white dew arriving. It adds this whole other layer of meaning to everything you see and feel. What it really does is plug you into this incredible 2,000-year-old story, a story that's all about paying attention. It's a story of how people for centuries have found these amazing ways to listen to the earth and live with it, not just on it. And that kind of leaves us with one last question, something to chew on. In our own super busy, tech-filled lives, what are the little signs of the seasons that we just completely miss? The way the sunlight hits a wall, the first sound of a certain bird. What subtle parts of nature's story are we overlooking every single day?